was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our civil liberties.
Some people did something, said a freshman congresswoman from Minnesota, to support and justify the creation of CARE. Today I am here to respond to you exactly who did what to whom.
Let me say this loud and clear. This isn't about politics. This is about respect. When a sitting member of the United States Congress reduces one of the darkest, bloodiest days in American history to the phrase, "Some people did something," that's not just poor phrasing. That's disrespect on a national scale. Thousands of innocent Americans were murdered on the 9th of November. Fathers who never came home. Mothers who never got to say goodbye. Children who still grow up without their parents. And yet, those horrific moments were spoken about as if it were just another line in a speech. That's not a mistake. That's a mindset, a staggering detachment from the pain that still echoes through this nation. And today, we're not brushing it aside. We're calling it out, clearly, directly, and without the sugarcoating that the mainstream media likes to use when it's one of their own. Ilhan Omar's words weren't just tone deaf. They were a slap in the face to every firefighter who ran into collapsing towers, every police officer who pulled survivors from the rubble, every family who stood at ground zero praying for a miracle that never came. For them, 9/11 wasn't something that happened. It was the day their entire world fell apart. And hearing a member of Congress speak about it like it was a footnote that reopened a wound this country will never fully heal from. I end the hearing today. Tempers flared for a reason. Lawmakers on both sides were forced to confront what too many have tiptoed around, that words matter, especially when they come from people in power. This wasn't about silencing Ilhan Omar. It was about demanding accountability, reminding her, and everyone in that chamber, that public office carries the weight of the people you represent. And let's be honest, this isn't the first time her comments have sparked outrage. From dismissive remarks to controversial statements, the pattern has been there for years. But today was different. The room had had enough. Members of Congress fired back. And this time, there was no walking it back, no polished apology to clean up the fallout. The truth hit the floor like a hammer. You can't rewrite the pain of 9/11, and you can't casually downplay it. Before we dive into the full breakdown of this fiery exchange, the facts, the reactions, and the political shockwaves that followed, do one thing. Click that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because this platform doesn't twist the truth or hide it behind filters. We show it to you exactly as it is, raw, real, and unfiltered.
On that day, 19 Islamic terrorist members of Al-Qaeda killed over 3,000 people and caused billions in dollars of economic damage. Your relatives and friends were attacked. Our constitutional freedoms were attacked. And our nation's founding on Judeo-Christian principles were attacked. That's what some people did. Got that now? We are here today, Congresswoman, to tell you and the squad just who did what to whom. Show respect in honoring them, please. American patriotism in your position demanded.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We've heard from my colleagues the reasons why the Representative Omar should be removed from this committee, but I feel like all the reasons have not just yet been stated, which is why I rise to add for the record. We've heard about the comments that were made regarding anti-Semitism and anti-Israeli views, but I rise to add to the record that as a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, I've sat there and heard the representative actually spew anti-American rhetoric as well. I've been in that committee room where the representative equates Israel and the United States to Hamas and the Taliban. Absolutely unacceptable for a member of that committee. I've also heard the representative equate that it is the United States' fault that there is turmoil in Venezuela. That is not because of the oppressive socialist and communism that has spread throughout Central and South America, in Venezuela at the hands of the Maduro and Hugo Chavez regimes. That is unacceptable. And as a New York representative, to hear the representative belittle, to try to diminish the worst terrorist attack on United States soil on September 11, 2001, as some people did something, that is unacceptable as well. And I hold the same standard for this side of the aisle that I do the other, because when another colleague on my side said something about 9/11, I also voted to have her removed from the Education Committee.
Imagine a member of Congress making a statement that many Americans feel downplays one of the most tragic days in modern history. The attacks of September 11th. Nearly 3,000 innocent people lost their lives that morning. Families were torn apart, first responders ran into chaos to save others, and the entire nation watched in horror as the world changed forever. So when those comments resurfaced, they didn't just spark criticism. They reignited a raw emotional wound that never truly healed. For millions of Americans, it wasn't about politics or party lines. It was about respect, remembrance, and the weight of words spoken by someone in a position of leadership. Once those remarks came back into focus, tensions inside the U.S. Capitol rose fast. Lawmakers across the aisle took to the House floor to voice outrage and disappointment. Many said the language used failed to capture the gravity of what happened on that dark day. One representative, holding back emotion, declared, "We know exactly who carried out those attacks and what they cost this nation. That clarity must never be lost." The statement drew thunderous applause from some and sharp silence from others. Republican members insisted that this moment was not about political points. It was about protecting national memory and honoring the victims who never made it home. They emphasized that what happened on the 9th of November was an attack on freedom itself, and any attempt to soften its impact risked diminishing that truth. On the other side, some Democrats argued that the debate was being used to target one member unfairly, but the intensity in the chamber made clear that emotions around 9/11 remained deeply personal and powerful. As discussion continued, past comments by the same Congresswoman resurfaced. Remarks comparing global democracies with extremist groups and statements suggesting that U.S. foreign policy bore responsibility for certain global crises. Critics said these comments crossed a line, especially coming from someone serving on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. A panel tasked with representing America's voice and values abroad. Defenders countered that the Congresswoman was exercising her right to question policy, and that removing her from the committee would set a dangerous precedent for free expression. But her critics were unmoved, saying there's a difference between dissent and disregard, and that her past statements repeatedly blurred that line. When the final vote took place, the atmosphere inside the chamber was charged with anticipation. Members rose one by one, casting their votes as the tension built. The result was decisive. The resolution passed, and the Congresswoman was officially removed from the Foreign Affairs Committee. Applause erupted from one side of the aisle, while others sat in silent protest. For supporters of the decision, it wasn't about punishment. It was about accountability, about reaffirming that representing the United States on the world stage requires both conviction and caution. For opponents, it was a sobering moment that highlighted the growing divisions in Congress and raised questions about the boundaries of political speech. The outcome left Washington buzzing. Commentators called it one of the most emotional sessions in recent years, a moment when remembrance, responsibility, and rhetoric collided. At its core, the hearing became a symbol of how America continues to wrestle with the legacy of 9/11, the meaning of patriotism, and the standards expected from those who serve in its highest offices. It was more than a vote. It was a statement, one that reminded lawmakers and citizens alike that words carry weight, especially when spoken under the dome of Congress. The tragedy of 9/11 will always demand care, honesty, and respect. And when those principles are questioned, the reaction will always be fierce, as the nation refuses to let memory fade. If you want to stay informed as these powerful debates unfold and history continues to write itself in real time, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Hey, we bring you the full picture, the facts, the reactions, and the context behind every headline that shapes America's story.